Women and Gender Equality. That's Pam Parsons. Good morning, Minister Parsons. You're on the air.
Good morning, Patty. And I'm calling, of course, talking to you now from beautiful Bay Roberts out here in the district of Harbour, Grace, Portagrey, before I get ready to make my way back in now, of course, with the House of Assembly in session. So I wanted to touch base. I think I attempted there the other day, but I know you had a busy show. But I wanted to talk about the investment recently to ultimately, and the goal is to end period poverty. And of course, what that means is our government has invested $30,000 to make available menstrual period products for all students who need them from grades 4 and up in schools across Newfoundland and Labrador. So myself and the Premier and Minister for Education, Tom Osborne, we met at Brother Rice School just last week, a week ago today, and to make that announcement. And we were also joined by Paula Shepherd from the Status of Women Council. And it was a great day. It was a big win for gender equality and gender equity.
A couple of quick questions. Were these products not available in schools, period, prior to this? Because someone told me, and they're a teacher at a junior high, that if you came to the office, there was access to them there. So, or is this brand new to every school?
No, you are right. Some schools have taken the initiative to make this available to students who need them, and I certainly come in and applaud them. They've done that on their own initiative. But what we've done now, we've actually put these funds in place. It's going to be an annual basis to have this investment to make these products available across the board, from one end of Newfoundland and Labrador to the other, to have these available in at least one bathroom per school. And again, for students from grade 4 and up who require these products, everyone who requires them, they will be available. They're also going to be placed in the bathroom, so that would avoid an awkward or an embarrassing situation for a student, where they can simply go in and access them, at need be.
Okay, so there's pushback on everything. That's just nature of the beast these days. There is one stat that I think makes this an even more important conversation. Is 1 in 7 Canadian girls have missed school because they couldn't access menstrual products. So that's a pretty important stat to encompass here. Let's get to some of the tangential stuff, but I think it'll be real in some people's minds. The bathrooms where they have access to these products, do they have a sign on the door that says this is the bathroom where you can access them? Because if we're talking about the whole stigma, which I find to be really quite hard to understand, is what stigma is associated with this? It's a bodily function. It's just pretty regular stuff. So is there like a sign that indicates that this is the bathroom?
I think that will be on the onus of the school, the particular school. But that said, I'm hearing a lot of support. Sure. You are right, just to back up the bus there a little bit. You're right. There are Statistics Canada have those numbers out there that young girls miss opportunities. They miss school because of lack of access to the period product. They miss extracurricular activity. And again, ultimately, it's a barrier to education. It's a barrier to an overall experience for education and to equity. So hopefully now this is the goal, to remove that now, so it's to make it completely equitable. But I think the onus will be on the school, the particular school community, how they will go about communicating that, that I guess in conjunction with the Department of Education. But any support that we can give as a government to schools to certainly, make this a very smooth and successful initiative, I can safe to say we're certainly willing to do everything that we can to support our schools in getting this out.
And I know this is not the minister's responsibility, but hopefully between the administrators and how they talk about this issue in schools, it's only people who need the product should take the product. The product does not belong in the toilet, in the consequential flood, in the bathroom. So we really need the young students in these schools, their teachers and administrators, to make sure that this program rolls out the way it's intended. And I know I'm not even going to ask you what to do about that, because that's not anything you can control. But let's hope that that's the way this works. In addition to the availability of these products, $30,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money when we talk about the numbers of students that may indeed need access to these products. So is there like some special deal? I know in one province they have struck a deal with a with a national chain of pharmacies. What about here? Are we just buying them retail, or do we have a deal? Because that really doesn't sound like a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I can't really speak to that because I haven't been part of this project. But again, I would assume this is meant to be accessible. It's meant to be successful. So I'm confident whatever initiatives need to be taken with regards to our school communities as well as government and the Department of Education, they'll certainly do everything they can to make that happen, to make that accessible.
What role does your department play in some changes to the school health curricula? Because we'll talk about mental health issues, addictions, relationships, those types of important issues, and I would imagine it'll extend its way to consent and domestic violence and those types of things. What kind of changes specifically are we going to see? Because that's been highly contentious in other parts of the country.
Absolutely. And the Office of Women and Gender Equality is ultimately a policy office. And so I guess you can consider us like the watchdog of government. For example, now the Gender-Based Analysis Plus lens is to be applied on every program, every policy, everything that's going to be produced by government of Newfoundland and Labrador, and to be at those planning stages as things are rolling out, to see and to study and to examine and to put those guards in place to protect and to see exactly how women and gender diverse individuals are affected. So we're a policy shop. Like, for example, in the mandate letter, I'm mandated to help with IVF, in vitro fertilization, to support the Department of Health and Community Services. The same thing for the missing, murdered Indigenous women and girls, to work with justice, as well to work with the Department of Indigenous and Labrador Affairs. So ultimately, we are a policy shop, and consider us the watchdog, and to work with these departments to get these best policies put out for government, for the people of Newfoundland and Labrador.
As a member of Cabinet, I just wonder if you have an update on this, because the many people who you represent are also seniors inside your portfolio. We've been with other seniors advocates since Dr. Suzanne Brake retired some 5 months ago. Pensioners associations are wondering when that new appointment or hire will be made, because 5 months is a big gap when we're talking about these seniors-related matters, because their issues are growing day by day. Any update on that front?
Well, I'm going to default then to my colleague, the Minister for Children, Senior Social Development, to give the proper, accurate info on that, and that's Minister Abbott, just to make sure, just to avoid, any non-accurate information. So when the update's available, I'm confident that he'll be out there to give that update.
I appreciate the time. Thanks for this, Minister Parsons.
Before I go, though, Patty, I also want to echo Liam, my friend Liam from Bay Roberts here. Of course, big shout out to Dawson Mercer. We're really proud of him here. A kid from Bay Roberts here, gone right to the NHL, and I know you're a big hockey star. So, the community here, the region, not just simply Bay Roberts, but Concession Bay North as a whole, and the region out here, we're all very proud of him. And so go, Dawson, go.
I'm echoing that one full-throated. Thanks for this, Minister Parsons. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Pam Parsons is the Liberal member for Harbour Grace, Port of Grey.